Something strange starts to happen when you're reaching the end of your spiritual journey. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the subtle signs that you're crossing into a phase most people never reach. Final awakening isn't about feeling enlightened or floating in peace. It's about being stripped down to your raw essence. It's a quiet, intense unraveling of your old identity. And the biggest trap, you won't even know it's happening. That's why so many ignore these final signs until it's too late. By the time they realize their body, mind, and relationships have already shifted beyond the point of no return. This isn't for everyone. Most people will click away. But if you felt something off lately, like you're being quietly prepared for something bigger, then keep watching. You're about to discover what no one talks about. The real signs of final awakening. At first, you think you're losing yourself. The things that used to trigger joy, sadness, excitement, or anger barely register anymore. The things that used to trigger joy, sadness, excitement, or anger barely register anymore. People might assume you're shutting down or falling into depression. But it's different. This numbness isn't emptiness. It's silence. Deep spiritual silence. Your soul has stopped reacting because it's no longer interested in playing emotional ping pong with the outside world. You're not avoiding feelings. You've just outgrown the noise. During final awakening, your emotional body starts pulling away from distractions it once fed on. You'll find yourself in conversations that feel fake, jobs that feel meaningless, or even hobbies that used to bring comfort but now feel like echoes. This isn't detachment. It's refinement. Your inner system is cleansing your emotional reactions because you're preparing to listen to a different voice. Not the one that screams with ego, but the one that whispers with wisdom. Most people misinterpret this as a breakdown and try to force their old emotions back. But if you lean in instead, you'll realize this numbness is the pause before deep alignment. It's the body's way of saying we're not wasting energy anymore. And once you accept that, clarity follows. People think awakening is filled with signs, synchronicities, and magical downloads. But the truth, right before the biggest transformations, everything becomes painfully still. No messages, no visions, no emotional highs, just silence. You wake up and feel like nothing is moving. Friends stop reaching out. Plans fall apart. Days blur into each other with no spark. And this is where most people panic. They assume they've done something wrong. But this is what's actually happening. Your energy is being pulled inward. Your soul is redirecting all resources to prepare for something that will dismantle your current life. The quiet is sacred. It's not punishment. It's preparation. In this silence, your nervous system is rewiring. Your subconscious is releasing. And your external reality is holding its breath before it collapses and reforms. If you push through this quiet phase looking for stimulation or signs, you'll miss what your spirit is building behind the scenes. But if you allow it, the calm will slowly crack open a completely new reality that you didn't have to chase because it was always coming to find you. This one hurts more than it sounds. During the final awakening, you don't just lose the desire to pretend. You physically can't anymore. Trying to be your old self feels like putting on clothes that don't fit. Small talk makes you nauseous. Pretending to agree just to avoid conflict drains you instantly. You used to be able to play the role, smile when needed, numb when necessary, but now your body and mind start rejecting it in real time. There's no energy left to maintain illusions. This is because your spirit is fully taking over your responses. The mask cracks even when you wish it wouldn't. You might find yourself becoming brutally honest or unexplainably distant from people you've known for years. Some will say you've changed. Others will say you've become cold. But you're not. You're just unable to perform anymore. And while that sounds isolating, it's also the doorway to real connection. The kind that doesn't need roles or rehearsals. Most people ignore the sign and try to force their old self back to life. But the truth is, when you can no longer fake your identity, that's when your real one is being born. At this stage, the shift becomes physical. You'll enter certain rooms, buildings, or social spaces and instantly feel sick, like your body is being drained without warning. It's not anxiety. It's not fear. It's your energy field rejecting frequencies that are too low for you now. You might notice headaches, chest tightness, fatigue, or even disease in places that used to feel familiar. Crowded areas become overstimulating, not because you're suddenly sensitive, but because your field is expanding and it can feel the dissonance. You may try to fight it. You'll tell yourself, I've been here before. I've always been fine. But your body doesn't care about your memories. It only responds to energy now. You might feel fine all day and then suddenly hit a wall the second someone enters your space with heavy unresolved emotions. This isn't about being dramatic or sensitive. It's biology aligning with spirituality. Your nervous system is evolving. Your intuitive senses are recalibrating. And the longer you stay in misaligned environments, the more your body will protest, not to punish you, but to wake you up. Most people numb this sign with caffeine, social pressure, or distraction. But if you tune in, you'll realize your body is no longer tolerating what your soul has already outgrown. Dreams during final awakening aren't abstract or mystical. They're direct. You'll start dreaming of people from your past, old homes, schools, or jobs you thought you moved on from. But in these dreams, something is always off. The lighting feels dim. The places feel too small. You may see yourself trying to leave, but the doors are locked. Or you'll be surrounded by familiar faces, but none of them speak. These aren't just random memories. They're your subconscious showing you everything that's being closed permanently. It's your spirit walking through old timelines one last time. Not to return, but to say goodbye. And sometimes it's not symbolic. It's literal. You'll wake up and feel a deep sadness as if you've just left something behind even though nothing happened in your waking life. This emotional residue is real. It's part of the shedding. Your soul is sorting through energetic attachments that still linger, even if you've moved on logically, and the dreams continue until you finally accept you're not who you used to be, and you're never going back. Most ignore these dreams and shrug them off. But those who pay attention know when your sleep becomes a farewell tour, you're stepping into your real life. This one is subtle and it creeps in when everything else seems calm. You'll be sitting in silence, scrolling through your day, and suddenly feel this overwhelming sense of urgency, like something is coming, like you're supposed to do something. But you don't know what. It's not anxiety. It's not burnout. It's your soul signaling that alignment is closing in and your current reality is no longer enough to hold it. You'll look at your daily routines and think this isn't it anymore. You'll feel a quiet pressure building, not from the outside world, but from inside your spirit. The clock hasn't changed, but your inner timing has. You know your current patterns can't continue. The urgency isn't pushing you to pack. It's preparing you to act because soon life will call you to make decisions without hesitation and the window will be small. This pressure is the final stretch before alignment forces a leap. Most people drown it in distractions or convince themselves it's nothing. But those who felt this know when your soul starts whispering hurry. It means your timeline is about to collapse into something entirely new and it won't wait for you to be ready. One of the strangest signs of final awakening is when your ambition flatlines. The goals you worked toward for years, the job, the recognition, the dream life, suddenly feel irrelevant. You didn't lose hope. You didn't get lazy. You just stopped believing in the story you were told to chase. Out of nowhere, you can't bring yourself to care about climbing ladders, impressing others, or proving your worth. You'll find yourself questioning, why am I still doing this? Even when you're succeeding, it's not sabotage, it's soul correction. During final awakening, your inner compass no longer points toward what looks good, only what feels aligned. You might start canceling opportunities that others envy or feel drawn to simpler, quieter ways of living, even if they don't make sense on paper. This inner rebellion is your true self rejecting the script you were taught to follow. And most people panic here. They think they're losing direction. But the truth is, the old map is no longer valid. You're not lost. You're just waking up from a dream. And what comes next doesn't have a title or salary, but it has meaning. That's the new currency your soul is after. Now, final awakening doesn't just change you. It exposes the unresolved parts of others around you. As your energy becomes clearer, more centered, and less reactive, people unconsciously start to project their chaos onto you. It's subtle at first. A close friend suddenly accuses you of being distant when you're just setting boundaries. A family member picks fights for no reason. Co-workers seem irritated by your calm. You're not doing anything different, but your very presence becomes a mirror they can't avoid. This is because when your frequency rises, it illuminates the shadow in others. And not everyone is ready to see that. Some will lash out, Others will quietly distance themselves, and you'll wonder what you did wrong. But this is the test. Final awakening forces you to stay rooted in truth, even when others misunderstand you. It's lonely, it's painful, but it's also the most important purification process you'll ever go through. Most people ignore the sign and shrink themselves back down to be accepted. But if you hold your ground, the noise eventually fades. And what's left are people who see you clearly, not through their fear, but through love. This shift is subtle but massive. You used to want to be validated, appreciated, recognized. There was a time when being noticed gave you energy, but now you feel a pull in the opposite direction. The idea of being seen by everyone starts to feel hollow, even dangerous. You don't want to be popular. You want to be true. You stop posting to impress. You stop explaining yourself to people who never understood you. You crave silence, not spotlights. This happens because the final awakening strips away your need to perform. You realize that most of what you did in life was to be seen, approved, and accepted, but it never made you feel whole. And now you're learning that wholeness comes in private moments, not public ones. You're drawn to depth, not display. You seek out people who listen instead of clap. And while the world may think you've disappeared, you're actually reappearing as yourself. Most people fear this and try to resuscitate their relevance. But those in final awakening embrace it because the real you doesn't want attention. It just wants peace. By the time you notice these signs, something irreversible has already begun inside you. You can't go back. You can't unfeel, unsee, or unknow what your soul has started revealing. And while it may look like you're pulling away from the world, what's really happening is that you're falling deeper into your truth. This phase, the final awakening, is brutal because it doesn't come with applause, clarity, or guidance. It comes with silence, disconnection, emotional rewiring, and an unexplainable sense that everything familiar is slipping through your fingers. But here's the secret most people miss. That discomfort is the doorway. That silence is the answer. You're not lost. You're not broken. You're simply being emptied of everything that was never real so that what's meant to remain can. Don't try to fix it. Don't rush to figure it out. Just notice the changes. Let your body speak. Let the old fall away because what's coming next will only arrive when there's space for it. If these signs resonated deeply with you, don't ignore that feeling. It means you're in it right now. And that awareness alone means you're not behind. You're right on time. Leave a comment if any of these signs hit home. And if you're going through this final phase in silence, just know you're not alone. We're right here with you. Make sure to subscribe if this spoke to your soul. More truth is coming. And next time, it might be the message that finally sets something free inside you.